بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is our program, Spirit of Values, and this is Dr. Tariq Rashid. We'll continue with the last episode of the value of innovation. So let's go deeply in the value of innovation, in which in the previous episode we discussed the models that we use, the concepts of innovation. Now let's look for what we call the eyes of innovation. The vision for wealth creation comes through innovation. So what are the different eyes that we have to think of whenever we apply innovation? Let's discuss the concept of idea. And we mentioned the idea, just to remind you, the idea should consist of being unique and satisfy needs. And we need a good infrastructure for implementation. So idea, infrastructure, implementation, remember these, all of these eyes we need in order to apply the concept of innovation. So the idea should come from a certain individual guy. Although we believe that the idea could come from a team, but always creative ideas, new ideas usually come of a certain person who believes totally and very passionate for this idea. Then we can go and look for the information. We increase imagination. And imagination, you need to relax always, choose an area that you can focus on. And usually for imagination, there are certain times and hours better than others. And there are some places that are better than other places for imagination. For example, for imagination, you need calm places. And usually you need to have open places. So you may go for a garden in front of the sea, up the mountain, and this is a very good place. About the timing, we prefer early morning or at sunset sometimes. It's preferable. These are some of the times and places to start the imagination. But you have to inspire yourself and charge your dream. We apply here a concept or a model called the 4Ds. The 4Ds, we combine several issues. First, the dream, it's the idea. In the imagination phase, we get our dream. Then we charge our desire. This is the inspiration by charging your desire. Then by determination, you give the effort and dedication to ethics, to values. So this will help us to move in the imagination, create the inspiration. Then we go for the invention phase. This will help us in a good idea to start utilizing in the innovation process. Usually they found that creativity percentage between different sectors is like this. We have 5% of people, they think of different ideas than others, and this is the 5%. We have 10%, 15%. For example, this is a study done on the number of children in a Georgia study, and they found that always kids are more creative than elder people. Why? Because always kids, they are not formatted with lots of information and programs. So they are still looking for new ideas. So usually kids are more creative than other elder people. Now this is a study is proved. So usually we invest with little kids. We also in education, we believe that kids from the first grade to the third grade, they have lots of ideas that could be implemented. What are the diffusion of illusion? We have the knowledge, the persuasion, the decision, and the implementation, as well as the confirmation. So we start with the knowledge. And always there is a relation between knowledge, data, and information. Data is the first step in the knowledge process, and always data is just the raw materials. But once you analyze data, you process data, you try to think of it, you get information. Information with practical application, you get the knowledge needed. Then you start persuading others with your idea. You try to convince them, you try to discuss with them, and then you reach a decision. And the decision pass through three major sequential steps. The first concept is what we call decision making. We discussed this previously, but this is to apply it with the innovation. Decision making, usually discuss with your team and reach the knowledge that will help to make the decision in the decision making phase. Then decision taking. Take the decision, but then start decision implementation. At the end, implementation is the secret of success. So the idea is implementation will follow, and then confirmation that you get the result that you think of. So usually we need a feedback and assessment. But always we have some sort of resistance to change. And they found by statistics that innovators, only 2.5 of the whole world are innovative guys. So we have less innovators, 2.5 only. But once you persuade others, the early adopters, they are consisting of 13.5. This is a study. Early majority, they start now being convinced with the idea. They come to implement the idea. They get attracted by the idea. These are called the early majority. So 34 of the early majority. And then the late majority, the idea will go, change will go, late majority 34%. But always we have the laggards, 16%, that they resist totally the idea, and at the end they may be convinced to follow. So always keep in mind, if you are an innovator and you have a good idea, believe in it. You will find resistance because always people resist change. However, this is a research. Finally, you can achieve early adopters, early majority, and the idea will go. The second eye of innovation is the infrastructure. The infrastructure need the interference, the interheritage. We have to discuss the culture. Does the culture accept this idea? Some cultures may resist a certain idea. Then you check the finance with the investment. If you have a good investment, if you have good finance, invest. If you don't, look for people who can support this idea and form a investment with them. Incubation, sometimes we go for incubators, and incubators encourage new ideas. For example, youth, when they have a new idea, they don't have lots of money to implement. So incubators, check the industry that you are working with. Is the idea to be implemented in technology, in engineering, in medical sector, in sport? Check the industry and choose a certain institution. By this, you are defining the infrastructure for the idea. And remember that what we call research and development, R&D, this is a science. We cannot move without research. So collect, make the full research, all the data, innovation at the end is an art applying R&D in its application. Fields of competency, you can go in any field, but check your talent. Sometimes in consultations you may work, technical services, applied research, and now we think of the future of jobs with technology. The Conference of Jobs, which was held in 2019, introduces that the world is changing continuously, and even the future of jobs are changing. There are jobs that will be obsolete, will be out of the market. Specifically, the ideas that people who rely on their hands. We need people who rely on their minds, on creativity. So the future of jobs mentioned that the future will be for technology. So the future is a technology-based market. We need, for example, robotics engineering now is used in all aspects, in all sectors. We have robots. We have robots in clinics. We have robots in farms. We have robots in tourism, in hotels. The future is for robotics engineering. Then we have what we call artificial intelligence, is another area that we can invest. We have what we call the big data and data management. And the cybersecurity is another area that we can have some sort of competency in this field and highly needed. Also, we can go for what we call virtual reality, augmented reality, but also still we need 3D printing. All of these summarizing the future of the jobs. So the fields of competency are in these areas. So try to get a new idea and be innovative in such concepts. And implementation. In order for implementation to go, there are some eyes to keep it in mind. And always remember, the episode is about the eyes of innovation. Without incentives, we cannot achieve. You have a good team, give them incentives. When they achieve the result, incentive is a must. Then initiation of the project. Integration with the whole team is a must. But check first the internal competition. Is this idea working in the market that you are in? If it is, can we go for the international market? Can we go for this idea with international market? With the use of technology now, we can go wherever you want. The world is becoming smaller with the expansion of technology. So maybe you can market your idea in the international market and you have an indication for this. Remember that one of the most important C's for your success in innovation is change. What are the models of change that we apply always in order to keep success? The first model that appears in change management is called Lewin's change model. Lewin looked for the change as looking for an iceberg. You have an ice cube. You start first the unfreeze phase. The unfreeze phase, you are trying now to apply the concept of moving from the current status, which is freezing you, try to unfreeze it, then go through the change process. So the ice cube will go into the water phase, then the new product, refreeze it. So unfreeze, change, refreeze is a model that we apply in change. But always remember that there are some forces that support you. These are the positive forces, but always you will face resistance. We always face resistance to change, and these are the negative forces. Change is related to creativity. They are the two equal C's. Creativity equals change. So think of the change models that you may apply in order to let the idea proceed. How can we reduce the forces of resistance? And how can we increase the supportive, positive idea for success? So this is what we call force field analysis that will help me to check the value of resistance. This is the first model that we apply in change. However, there is another more practical, more descriptive model that we always apply in change. It's called Kotter's model of change. Kotter's introduced the concept of the 8 process of change, but should be sequential. If you apply these in a sequential form, you will reach a good achievement of your innovative idea by applying the change model of Kotter. The first step with Kotter model is create a sense of urgency. Create a sense of urgency, which means We will never move if there is no urgent case for movement. How to create it? Check the present status. If you keep in your present status, you will lose more, so create a sense of urgency. This will help us to move. And because we believe in the team, you need to build the guiding coalition for this change model or the new idea. The guiding coalition should have a leader. And if you are the owner of this idea, be the leader. But you need someone who can apply all concepts of management. And the first episodes of this program was about leadership and management. You can get back to the first episode and you check that we need some sort of managers, we need leaders, but we need experts. If your project or your idea is in IT, bring an expert in IT, and you have to bring someone who is very credible and well known and trusted by all of the team. So guiding coalition. Then this team will gather and meet for creating the vision of the new coming idea. So we transfer the idea into a vision. Create the vision, then you communicate the vision to all the people that are affecting, empower them, educate them, and keep them on the skill level. As we move, create short-term wins, give incentives, introduce more more level of change, then you reach a new destination, anchor the changes. Congratulations, you have now reached the final concept of innovation. Your idea started as an idea, but at the end you reach a real implementation. You apply the change model and all models of innovation. By this, we end the episodes relating to the value of innovation. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.